This Ultimate Fight event contains full contact action, graphic imagery, and blood that may not be suitable for some viewers.
Weighing 155 pounds, representing Pacific County, out of Canada, Tom O'Connor. His opponent, fighting out of the red corner, weighing 155 pounds, representing Elite Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, out of Pocatello, Idaho, Kerry.
All right, Dave, our 11th bout of the night.
Yes,
this has been a great night of fights here at the Great Falls Rumble, the Fight Force event.
Yes, sir, it has. It's been a good
Promoted
night.
by Brian Dietz.
Here we are with our co-main event.
Yeah, our co-main event. It's a pro
Sure.
fight, 3 5-minute rounds.
You know, you got Tom O'Connor coming out of Canada.
Out of
once
Canada,
again.
the white and
Legit
black
team.
with Kerry Lattimer out of Pocatello, Idaho.
Yes, sir. And, Kerry's fought up here before for us.
Yeah, I've watched.
I do believe, matters of fact, this would be the young man. I think
Watch both
our
these
friend
guys
Kyle
fight.
Clark might have fought this guy.
Yeah. Here we
And
go.
I do believe got him in a rear naked choke in the first round.
Good takedown.
Good first action right away. You know, O'Connor being a really experienced fighter in his amateur career. I don't know how far along we are in his professional career at this point, but you know, I watched him come up through his amateur career. Great young man.
Yeah, he's a good fighter. All those guys, once again, out of Lethbridge are great.
Yeah, very, very humble young man, and I think
Professional
that's
fighting academy up there. Yeah.
a huge ingredient to a good fighter is humbleness.
Nice stand, nice stand. Watch the knees. Once again, good takedown. Pretty hard to
we
get
are-
guillotined from a side control position, so he should get out of that
is.
guillotine. Remember, we're pros, guys. You can use your elbows.
That's right. You know, a lot of these beginning pros, Scott, and being that you brought that up, you know, a lot of these beginning pros, they just don't remember what they can do. They're so used to those amateur rules.
Yeah, you got to change your whole mindset. But
Yes, sir, you do.
Tom's having a pretty good time on the top here.
Yeah, Tom's doing a good job of keeping his weight down on him, keeping him pressed up against the cage, keeping that pressure on him, keeping a wide base. Good job by O'Connor. Here's another experience level thing that you can see. You know, a lot of guys will get caught in a position like this, like O'Connor's got his head caught in this possible choke, but he's been here before.
Yeah, it's tough to pull that choke
he
off
knows.
unless you got him in full guard.
Right,
So
exactly.
he's experienced enough to know that. He's probably going to try to either go to the mount or get the
There we
side
have our-
control. Yeah. Probably Kerry's best bet is to let that arm go and just defend.
You know,
try to get a scramble going.
Right. Kerry's sitting in a north-south position, which is difficult to get away from, especially when you have somebody on you that knows your only ways to get out. This is not good.
Not a
You never
good
want to be
position
belly
for
down.
our Pocatello guy,
Good
but now he
job
might
trying to
shake
shuck
him
him
off.
over the top. O'Connor is a little
Yeah.
high. Good
Yeah,
job
looking
pushing
for
him
an
up
arm
against
bar.
the cage. You know, and an
Good
experienced,
knee,
once again,
good
an
knee.
experienced fighter
Oh,
knew
he's throwing some good knees there.
that he was jeopardizing that arm, but
Yeah, it's tough. I
doing
don't
a
think
good
he's going
job.
to get this arm bar. He
yeah,
doesn't have
nice
a good,
defense on that arm bar.
looking,
Notice how O'Connor's got, or how Kerry's got his arms locked in together to defend that arm bar. Doing a great job.
Those are some beautiful knees to the kidneys. They take their toll after a while.
Yes, sir, they will.
Yeah, this is a good scramble. What's going to happen here? They're popping out a little bit. I don't know what Tom is thinking there. He's got the cage to use, though, if he pushed
Yes,
off.
sir, he does.
could
You know,
explode off.
I think where Tom's at right now is that commitment thing. You know, he believes in the commitment. He wants that arm. He's going to stay committed. He rolled him right over.
Yeah, that was a good
into
roll.
what we call a spider web position for a second. But beautiful, staying committed to that arm, staying on that arm.
And those knees are
just
still
gonna
being
wait
rained
for
down
it.
by Kerry there. That's pretty cool
Yes,
that he's
yes, sir, they
he's
are.
still on the offensive there with those knees a little
Yep.
bit. So see what happens here. It's pretty
Yeah.
pretty evident
No.
that they're kind of in a stalemate position a little bit, but
Right, and then once
See
again,
what-
much like a chess match, you know,
Yep.
you see all the pieces sitting there, and it takes a minute to move one. 'cause you need to
back
think
on
about
their
what you're
feet.
doing.
Yep, back on their feet. What's going to happen?
Great job by Kerry keeping that underhook on that side. Good shots.
Nice takedown
Yeah,
by
nice takedown
Tom
by
there.
O'Connor.
Yeah,
Taking his back on top.
took his back.
There he is.
This could be a difficult position for Kerry here. It's always tough when
You
somebody's
shuck
on your
him off-
back. Yeah, you can shuck him
Push
forward.
him off the top.
It's about all he's got to do right now is shuck him forward.
Yeah, it's all we can do.
We got a minute left in this first round. Still a lot of time left to fight.
Yes, sir. You know, a minute in there is way longer than our minute out here.
And Tom's looking to get a guillotine choke, or no,
A
rear
rear
naked choke
naked.
he's looking for, yeah.
Yeah, Kerry keeping his head down, wanting to keep your chin down. You want to put 2-on-1 control. O'Connor picking those shots from up top. Doing a great job of staying up on his back. When you're on their back, you want to stay low. If you get too high, they can shoot out the back door. Kerry knows that right now. O'Connor's kind of relaxing. He's not really looking to do a
There
bunch
he
of
goes.
damage
He's
with
getting
those
his leg
punches,
out.
but
Yeah,
he's
that's what he
looking
wants
to
to do.
open some doors with him.
Shuck that leg off.
Yes, sir. And Kerry's on his way out that back door.
There we go. He's moving to the
Nice, good
side.
job,
Nice side
shut it off.
control now. 10 seconds
Yes,
left.
sir. Yes, sir. Oh, Kerry wanted to drop those bombs. You know, at that 10-second
Oh,
bell.
you can't knee while they're on the ground.
Oh, you cannot do that. Dennis giving him the warning.
No, I think just verbal told him, and I didn't think
Yep.
the knee hit. He said, you can't do that.
Yeah.
So once
Yeah.
again,
You know, Dennis is an extremely experienced referee, a very
yeah, he's
trusted
done
referee.
quite a few matches.
Absolutely the man that if I have questions, I will call Dennis. And
That was a nice little exchange on the ground for Terry there.
absolutely it was. It was a
Or for
great
Kerry,
job.
I mean,
yeah. Little bit of fighter mentality right there, you know, just the
And he
shot
felt
was
bad
open,
about
so
the
he
knee,
took it.
yeah.
Yeah, and that happened.
Good sportsmanship.
Absolutely. Tom's always been a great
Nice.
sportsman in all of the fights we've seen
Yeah,
him in.
nice reversal there. Been some pretty good scrambles. There it was right there. All right, ladies and gentlemen, into our second round now. This is
There
our
we
11th
go.
fight of the night. It's been a great night of fights. Hopefully you've been able to join
go.
us for all the fights.
Yeah, there you go. That's what we like to hear.
Crowd's getting fired up here
Yeah,
for our
yeah,
second
yeah.
round.
You know, as a fighter, you can come into these fights with all the energy you want, but I'm here to tell you, when you're in the crowd, scream as loud as you can and get it done, because that really turns those fighters on and gives us a great fight. Here we go for round 3.
Oh, nice.
Beautiful spinning elbow by O'Connor. I'm not
Nice
sure that
dirty
it was meant to
boxing
be,
inside
but
there, yeah.
yeah, great striking. Punches in bunches. Punches in bunches. That's what you want. Nice push.
Little fighting off the cage there.
Yes, sir. I think the only way to really truly respect the clinch game and understand the clinch game is to be in the clinch. There's a lot going on right there that people don't see. It looks like it could possibly be a stagnant position, but it is not.
Yeah, a lot of energy expended, too.
Yes, sir, there is. O'Connor looking to run the pipe right there, grabbing onto that one leg.
Nice takedown again.
Did a great
Kerry's
job on
trying
that.
to hang on to that guillotine. It's not going to work from side control.
No, it isn't.
Now Tom is working his way around, looking to take the back again.
Tom's really on to the back of it, yep, and go ahead and set his hooks in there.
I'm wondering if Terry's not getting a little
Nice,
tired.
up at the top.
Terry's not
There's a
getting a little
possible
tired.
reverse triangle right there if Thomas, because he's got one arm in, the way that he's set right there. If Thomas was to reach down with his right hand and grab his left ankle, now it's too late. earlier. He could have grabbed that left ankle, pulled
Yeah,
it through, and he'd
working
have
on
had
that
that reverse
armbar
triangle.
again. This is a
he is going to that
Deja
armbar.
vu again here.
Yes, sir, it is.
He's been defending him pretty tough, though. That's
Yes, he has been. And you know, as a coach and a trainee and things with jiu-jitsu, you want to think of jiu-jitsu as firing multiple submissions at once. I want him to defend one and fall into another. When we go after those arm bars, we want to be ready to roll over 4 triangles.
Well, it looks like Kerry got out of that, and now he's
he
in
did a
top
great
position
job.
in the guard. So let's see if
Yes,
he's going to
sir.
start working. Nice knees to the buttocks. Those take their toll a little bit, but
Probably
I'd
a
like
little
to
more
see
than
him
most
posture up and
realize.
start punching a little bit.
Yes, sir, I agree with you
Because
there.
I think Tom is ahead in
But-
the fight right now. So
Yeah, I agree with you. You know, however, right now where O'Connor's hips are, his hips are too high. If you postured up on him, he'd get away from you. So, right now, Kerry's doing the right thing by keeping that shoulder pressure down into his face and staying on top of him.
looking for an armbar there off his back.
Yes,
he's
sir.
up against the cage. It's going to be a little tougher to work.
Yes, sir, it is. And sometimes as a jiu-jitsu practitioner or a fighter, we'll much in boxing when we feint a punch or we feint something. In jiu-jitsu on the ground, we can do the same thing. We can act like we're going to go for a submission, only to get them to react a certain way, and then we capitalize on their reaction.
Crowd's getting into it. We got a little USA versus Canada going
trying to get
here
it
in
going.
the USA chant. We love that. That's
Yes.
always a fun one.
Yes, sir, it is. And those Canadians, not only the fighters, but the crowds and the fans that come from Canada with them they're all so game and so fun. They really make the shows a great time.
Well, Kerry's doing a pretty good job on top. He's equalizing this fight out. He was on his
He
back
really
for a
is.
while now. He's
Yep.
giving the favor back. So what's happening here is points are kind of adding up for Kerry here a little bit. So
Yeah, and he's doing a good job of keeping his weight centered. He's staying on top of him in his
yeah,
position.
he's been riding on top for a
Yeah.
long time,
Oh.
but now looks like a little reverse happening
Little
here by
O'Connor's slipping out
Tom.
the side. There he is. He wants to
I'd
set
like to
his
see
hooks.
Kerry just do a
Got
little roll
baseball bat
forward.
control.
There we
Yeah,
go.
There you have it. When you get that 2-on-1 control and that baseball bat control, you swing it like a baseball bat and you'll move
Yeah,
that
you can
body.
use your hips. That was a little judo throw, actually,
Yes,
a shoulder
sir.
judo throw, but he didn't do anything with it, and he let
O'Connor
himself
with
get caught in a reverse triangle
with
there.
a slight form of triangle there.
They're getting pretty slippery, guys. Nice.
That's
knee.
always the toughest thing when you're in there.
Nice
Is the slipperiness, the wetness. You can see
Yeah,
a
after
submission,
a
but
couple
grabbing
minutes,
it.
you get pretty slippery there.
Yes,
it's hard
sir,
to,
you do. It's tough.
hard to do submissions without
Yeah.
a gi. Yeah.
Kerry's doing a good job of staying on top of him.
Yeah, I'd have to say Kerry might have taken this round. I think we got one more round in the books, don't we? Is this our second round?
Yes, sir, I do believe.
Got a third round coming up. It's going to be anybody's fight, I think.
Yeah, I think third will be the decider.
There's our 10-second marker. And Tom's doing a good job.
Doing a great
Finishing
job
the
of
fight,
staying on
finishing
there.
the
He's got,
round.
he's got a slight body triangle going on. If I'm Kerry right now, I'm thinking I need to come out into this third round. I need to knock this guy out.
It's
I have to knock him out or I have to tap him out.
Yeah,
That's
it's
the only way
it's
for me to
it's
win
a close
this
fight, but I think you're right. I think Tom's got the advantage right
I-
now, and
Absolutely, he does.
I think Tom's going to come out with a vengeance too here this last round. So could have some fireworks in store for us here.
Yep, that would
Here's
be
a nice
good
replay
thing.
where Tom was on top, raining
Yeah.
down some blows, and
Good job.
Kerry's
going
going to get a little reversal here pretty soon, and
Yeah.
he's going to get up on
The
top.
accuracy
so.
of O'Connor's shots are crucial. A lot of these fighters, these amateur fighters, they'll get on top of somebody and they'll throw a lot of energy into a lot of strikes that don't matter. And when you get a little more experience, you get up into this professional level, they pick their shots. Look at how accurate O'Connor's hitting him in that replay. He's
Yeah, that was
landing
some good
those punches.
accuracy.
That is the way to do it. No wasted energy.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, round number 3
There's
could be
Kerry
anybody's
saying,
fight.
come on.
Could
That's
be
right.
anybody's fight.
Kerry's
Here
a
we
game
go.
fighter. We enjoy having him.
Pocatello. Kerry Lattimer against Tom O'Connor over here from Canada.
Let's go, Tom!
Oh, into the clinch game.
Good
That was
knees
kind
to
of odd.
start
Yeah, it was
with.
beautiful. Knees to the head. Nice striking by O'Connor. Once again, out of Canada with a world-class kickboxer.
Yeah. Looked like Kerry tried to get a little guillotine going there and lost it right away. So here we go.
Giving it a
O'Connor's
shot.
taking
Nice
the back
spin.
again. Yeah.
Nice spin. There's that
Try to
baseball
get his
back
hooks
control
in.
again. You know, that
Gotta get those
2-on-1, you
hooks
can
in.
see how effective that is.
Kerry's a little bit tired, I think. Tom's got a little more energy at this point in the fight.
You know, Tom's always been such a conditioned fighter. I honestly, I don't think that I've watched him fight a dozen times, I bet you, and I don't think I've seen him run out of gas.
Well, he's in
And
a
I
good
don't think I've
position
ever seen
right
him
now.
not
That was a
smile.
nice forward roll. Poor Tom got head-butted right into the ground there.
Yeah.
But
But once
I
again, you know, you're talking about a professional fight, and
Yeah.
you know, if you get spiked, that's on you.
that's on you.
Yes, sir.
Well, Kerry's looking to do something here. He better get scrambling
You
a
know
little
what
bit.
Kerry needs
'cause,
to do
this
is get
the
one of
third
those hooks
round.
out. Yeah, Kerry needs to get one of those legs, one of those hooks out of there, and he needs to turn into O'Connor. That's what he needs to do. As long as O'Connor's on his back punching on him, he's going to be in the same spot.
Yeah, it's going to be a tough situation.
Yes, sir. He's got to turn into him. There, Lucas staying on top. Kerry's trying to shuck him off, but you know, right now as an amateur, worst case scenario, or even as a professional, worst case scenario, if you have somebody on your back like this, you've tried everything to get away from him, try a forward roll.
Yeah, sometimes you got to just pull out all the stops.
Yeah, sometimes you just have to try.
Because
the-
as long
the
as
not
as
norm.
long as Tom's in this position,
He's in this
he's
position.
going to win the fight.
That's right,
Yep,
exactly.
he's going to win the fight.
That's right. Lining those elbows, doing a great job.
Yeah, they're.
You know, I don't know that Tom would necessarily be looking for the rear naked choke out of this position. I think that he's going to stay there and just optimize himself on whatever comes about.
got a triangle lock on the body there, body
Yes,
lock.
sir. He needs to get that right foot up into the cup behind the knee, like he just worked that into there to get that body lock on there.
Yeah.
You know, when you're working with that body triangle and you can lock it on, especially O'Connor's not much taller than I am, and he's got short legs like I do. When you lock that body triangle on there like that, it really shuts their air off. It makes
Yeah,
it
it's
hard
tough.
for him to work. Good job by
You
O'Connor
can see,
staying on the back.
Kerry's a
He's
little
dropping those
frustrated there
bombs.
on the bottom, yeah.
Absolutely. I would be frustrated
Tom's
too.
doing a great job of controlling.
Baseball back control again.
That's going to keep him from getting choked, but it's
Yes, sir.
he needs to shift his weight to one hip or the other and then spin back the other way so he can trap the hip, and
Yes, sir, he does.
maybe with as much sweat that they've got, he's able to spin into a guard position. But I think he's tired. And it's hard to think sometimes
he
when
is
you're
too.
tired.
Right now, you're looking at more of a
See, he
jaw
had the hip
crushing.
trapped. If he would have spun the other way, he might have
Yes, sir.
got it back into the guard position.
Yes, sir. He's
but
got him high. Shuck him out the back
That
door. He
was
goes.
nice.
Nice. Good job. Back to the
Now
clinch
he's got
on
a
the
minute
cage.
18 seconds to do something. It's a
You know,
tough fight,
Yes,
guys.
sir. Tough guy. And again, you know, a minute and a half in there is so long.
There was a nice takedown by Kerry. Now he's looking for the mount. Like to see him throw a few strikes. Those elbows are there.
Yes, sir, they are. And you know, these guys are fairly experienced professionals. They are coming out. You know, they're 5-6 professional fights in, and much like our fight previous to this, those guys were probably only 1 or 2 professional fights in, so they don't think so much about the new professional rules. Good job by
Here we
O'Connor
go,
slipping
taking
out
the
there
back.
onto his back, and
Tom's doing a good job. We got to get some hooks
he
in.
really
though.
is trying to drag him back down.
20 seconds left. Doesn't look like we're going to have a finish, but looks like our Canadian friend controlled the fight. If I was a betting man,
O'Connor, yes, sir.
I would say the Canadian won the fight.
Beautiful spin out by
Yeah,
Kerry.
that was nice. Good fight.
By Kerry,
Excellent fight. 3 5-minute rounds.
Great job, guys. Unfortunately, I think on Kerry's part, I think we had too little too late.
Yeah.
I agree with you,
You're
Scott.
right on that one. Let's see what we got here.
Yes, sir.
A little bit of replays on that last third round, which was our important round. Yeah, we got Tom on top.
Nice job.
Nice
spin out.
reversal there by
That was a beautiful. That is a classic wrestling spin out is what that is, and he did a great job of doing it and using it.
But I was a little too late.
Too little late. Yes, sir.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, let's see what our judges are going to say.
Again, I'd hate to be the judge.
Yeah, this would be a tough one, but I think
That's
our
a tough
Canadian
one.
friend has got it.
Yes, sir.
I can see from body language too.
Right? And the beautiful thing is, win, lose, or draw, they're both going to smile.
Yep.
They're both going to be cool with it because they both know that they just gave it their all.
Bout number 11 has gone. All 3 5-minute rounds. We go to the judges' scorecard. Judge number 1 scored the fight 29, 28, 30, 27, and 29, 28.